What's up, beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Bright Uchichiku, and I'm gonna be helping y'all with your interior design problems, your issues, whatever the situation is. I'm here to help you.
The Jack Refix.
Alright, before we move too far into this video, I'm going to ask that you please just hit the subscribe button, turn the notifications on so that you also know when I'll be posting another video. It really does support my channel when you do this. Also, like the video and share the video with someone who may be in desperate need of some help. Maybe if you have any comments or any questions throughout the video, please let me know down below. I'll be going through those and answering them as they come. But with that being said, let's get into the video. Bohemian interiors, let's talk about it. All right, so I love Bohemian interiors for so many reasons. I use it in my current space right now. I love it, but I do mix it with other interior design styles. But Bohemian interiors is so, I think it's one of my favorites because of a couple of reasons. Let's just read the definition so you can actually understand it. By the way, if I'm looking down, it's because I have some notes down here and I don't want to mess something up and someone comes for me in the comments, so that's why I'm looking down. The word bohemian refers to someone who is socially unconventional and often involved in the arts, making it a great interior design option for a rich and heady space full of visual interest and a relaxed spirit. This style breaks lots of rules, I think. It's not in a box. It's usually very personal to the person who's in that space, which I love. Yes, there's elements to it that is going to be carried out in that bohemian style, but it's generally very personal to the person. So for color palettes in there, so you're going to find more warmer, earthier tones. You find more jewel tones, more metallics in there. That's really what the color palette you'll see in the space. And then when it comes to things like layering, you're going to see so much layer in there. There's lots of texture. There's lots of different types of patterns. That's what this style really just takes on and gravitates and holds onto. You also end up seeing lots of vintage furniture pieces that can be found in this space. A lot more distressed and worn in pieces of furniture. Often items in this space tell a story. Usually they tell something very unique about the person who lives in that space. Things don't have to be perfect in this space. It doesn't have to be brand spanking new to be in this interior space. It can be something you found on the side of the road. You know, it's okay. It tells a story. You know, it can be unique. Just make sure it's clean. That's all I gotta say. All right, but let's talk about how you can actually create this interior space. It's not difficult to do this space. I think it's actually a space that can be easily attainable if this is something for you. First step, color palette. Figure out your color palette. Find the color palette that works for you, suits you. Like I said, it needs to be something, if you're going for the style, a bit more of an earthier tone, warmer colors. If you want more luxurious luxe vibes, go for something more in the jewel tones route. Something, think about like a very dark velvety sofa. That could be gorgeous, like a dark blue, like that jewel blue. Some velvet in there, that can be really nice. Just saying. Like we talked about layering, lots of layers, like layer rugs, layer art pieces, layer the actual art on the wall. Not just, when I talk about art pieces, I'm talking about like art decor stuff that can go on the wall. Layer those. Maybe things on the ground are layered. You have candles, different heights, different variations. Play with scale. Your scale doesn't need to be, when I'm talking about scale, I'm talking about the size of the particular item. So mix in small, big, large, you know. Things always look good in odd numbers. So if you're gonna do mixing and matching of lots of layers and different objects and things, try to stick to the route of more odd numbers rather than even numbers, because in design it just looks better. But that's not a strict rule. You can absolutely do whatever on earth you want, but if you want something that is gonna for sure look better, go in odd numbers. Have fun with mixing different colors, different patterns, different textures. I love that about this design, that you don't have to find the same material for everything, which can be so annoying when you're trying to find a specific material. You can mix in different patterns and if you're gonna mix patterns, a safe way to do this is just making sure The first pattern could be loud, whatever. The next item that has that pattern should complement it. It doesn't need to be as loud as the next pattern for it to work. With that being said, if you're a person who is very bold and you can absolutely mix those two patterns together and you're not too sure if they have very similar color tones in them, it should still technically work. So play around with that, but just try and make sure the items that you are adding in, they balance each other out. One's not screaming louder than the other. That's the point where it doesn't look right in that space together. Just make sure whatever you're adding in, it's still sticking in your color palette. Stick to your color palette. And when you do that, try and stick to, if you're gonna stick to something a bit more warmer and you're mixing different types of patterns, make sure they balance each other out. Also, when you're picking out furniture pieces, maybe something you're doing is picking out maybe lower riding furniture. That's something you often find in a bohemian space. It's not necessarily high off the ground, but a bit more lower to the ground. It's a bit more relaxed, a little bit more chill. That's something a furniture pieces that you could be picking for this particular. So there's typically lots of decorative items in the space. It can be something you've created over time. So you can have things that are from, I don't know, Asia, something is from Africa, or it's from your local value village and you called it for whatever the situation is. It is what it is. It's okay. No one's judging you. Just layer lots of decor items. It really will add some uniqueness and personalization to your space and make it very bohemian. But something that is a couple more things that are really found in the space that you can easily do is embrace nature. So in this space, you're going to typically find more, it's like more botanical pieces. Like, you know, you're going to see more earthier things in there, like plants, lots of plants, plants everywhere. That's a very easy way to create a very bohemian atmosphere. Also, there's things like rocks and, you know, stones, things that people believe emits, you know, positive energy. If you're a person who believes in that, that could be a route for you. Add those elements. Some things to think about when you're designing the spaces, making sure you have adequate lighting, but more importantly, you want to have ambient lighting, you know, lighting that sets a nice mood for your space, because the style is a bit more relaxed, a little bit more warmer, a little bit more down to earth, and this style will have a bit warmer tone lighting. So you want to have maybe you're using a lamp that has a bit more of a warmer light bulb in it, rather than a very cool light bulb, like a very white light bulb. So make sure you're looking at like the lumen and the watts and all that stuff, you know, the back of it, making sure you're selecting the right piece of bulb for this particular project. You can also do it with like candles, adding candles in there. Candles will help you create that certain atmosphere in there. Lighting is very key. It's a big piece in interior design that you want to make sure you have the right lighting for your space, because it could absolutely make or break your interior space. What are the benefits of this interior design style? You may be asking yourself. We already know what it is. We already know the definition. We already know how to kind of shop for it. I hope you do now. If you didn't, go back to this video and start it again. But generally, the benefit of this is it's really for you. It's personal to you. It tells your story, which I love about it. It's very expressive, or at least can be very expressive if you choose it to be that way. So you can add whatever on earth you want and tell lots of stories with it. Mix and match things. Their furniture pieces don't need to be, you know, matchy. There could be 3 different colors of seating in there, and that's okay. That's a bohemian interior. That's the style. That's the aesthetic. So embrace it. But that is it for bohemian style itself, or bohemian interior design style itself. So we've learned a bit more about bohemian interior design style. We've also learned a minimalist interior design style. And you're a person, you like both of these styles, but you don't necessarily want to be full bohemian or full minimalist. You want to be a little bit happy in between. It is absolutely possible to achieve that. And it's absolutely achievable if you think of a couple things. Less is more is still the biggest thing to remember. You don't need to add crazy amounts of furniture pieces or items or decor items to make that space. What would be important is following this rule: a 70% minimalist and 30% boho. That's my little ratio in there. I'm not sure how accurate that ratio is, but in my mind and what I've seen and how I've looked at things, if you think 70%, thinking the majority of your space needs to be minimalist, and then 30%, or at least the lesser part of that space, will have boho accents in there. So for example, You can leave your sectional, leave your armchair, whatever it is right now. And maybe you're gonna opt out from, you know, that neutral, very simple beige throw blanket you have on there. Maybe you're gonna switch it out for a more terracotta like throw on it. Maybe you're gonna switch out all the pillows on there and add some more, you know, pillows that are a bit more on the boho bohemian spectrum. We're gonna switch out a couple of things like maybe the curtains and change the color a bit. And then also maybe not in that same room, in a different room now. Maybe you're in the bedroom now. You have a very simple minimal space before. You want that boho aspect in it. Maybe you're gonna change out the carpets or the area rug in there and have a bit more of a flair to it. Maybe it's mixing in some unique rugs in there instead of a very simple, clean, streamlined rug. Maybe it's that rug that has maybe some diagonal lines in there, has some unique prints on it. That is that boho aesthetic. Maybe you're using that in your rug, but the room itself can still stay minimal. Maybe you're gonna change out a couple of, like I said, the lamps. Maybe the lamp is a bit more different. Maybe you're changing out your lighting fixture to be a bit more bohemian, but still keeping that minimalist, uncluttered, very simple, clean space. Another really easy way to really think about what I've just said and just wrap it up is that you want to take the stream and clean lines and very symmetrical space, which is that minimalist aesthetic, and mix in some softer curved edges, some things just to balance it out and soften that space. One thing you want to make sure you're using the boho aesthetic, the boho accessories or items very sparingly. You're not overdoing it in that space, because once you start overdoing it, you will become more boho than you are minimalist, because the key thing here is to stay minimal. So you're just gonna add a couple items in that space and switch them out to be more of that boho texture, textiles, whatever it is, switch it to that boho aesthetic. Lastly, make sure you're not cluttering the space. Even though with Bohemian there's lots of items being in there, there's a difference with having lots of items that actually are supposed to meant to be there than also having clutter. You don't need to clutter your space. Clutter does not mean boho. Boho does not mean clutter. I don't think there's difference in it. Also, when it comes to boho minimalist, you don't need to clutter. Put things away that do not add to your aesthetic and leave things that do. I really hope you guys really enjoyed that video. I really hope you got something out of it. If it's small, something large, I don't know. I really hope you got something out of it. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Give this video a like. If you still have some questions or still confused about certain things about this particular video or my other videos, leave a comment down below. Let me know what your questions are. If there's any other interior styles that you would like me to visit and talk about, let me know down below. I'll be going through those and making sure to create videos for you guys. With that being said, I'll see y'all later. Okay, bye.